What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Real Deal Sports. Usual guys are here. Myself, Big John, Brother Walt. Gentlemen, it's been a crazy last couple days in sports, man.
Like a couple hours.
I was gonna say days because Lakers won their first game. The
No, he
Browns,
didn't. No,
the,
he
Brown,
didn't.
the Browns blow out Cincinnati, and yeah, the Vikings,
So,
the
so let me
Lions are rating
quick
within their
question.
own division.
Quick question. Why is it so surprising that the Browns blow up the Bengals? Well, we didn't say this
Because
when Chicago blew out. Who was that last week?
no, stop it. That was
I'm,
surprising. Stop it.
I'm just
Both
saying.
blow, both
I
of
don't
them
think it
blowout.
was surprising though. I mean, I
Huh?
feel like we talked about this. Like,
Yeah, but
if
nobody
Brown,
thought that they
if
would
the
look as
Browns
bad
can
as
get
they
that
did.
pass rushing going, I don't think it's crazy that they blow them out. But like
Stop.
Cincinnati has somewhat showed they can defend the pass rush the last couple games. Again, maybe it wasn't exactly the pass rush of Cleveland, but I'm just saying they've gotten a little bit better. And then Cleveland hasn't had that pass rush that we've seen, because Garrett still come back from a car accident, all that stuff. So like, yes, this was like that perfect like scenario where like Cleveland was able to capitalize on that. I mean, they sacked him like what 5.5 times. I don't even know how many times they hit him last night.
Yeah, it was 5
So
times.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like they have the rushing attack to do this, and I mean, it did look like it was going to be a Cleveland type game early, man. You had, I forget the plays now even, but you just had whatever. You had the pick, you had the missed field goal, I think.
Amari with the pick. It was just back to back bullshit BS.
Yeah, Amari
Amari
with
with
the
the
pick.
pick.
Thank you. It was a bunch of Browns type stuff going on, but finally they got that first score, and then once the Browns get that first score, they can eat clock, man. They can eat clock. They can chew up ground with them backs, and I think it was a perfect storm for Cleveland. I don't think it was crazy that they blew them out.
John be lying, but we're gonna.
All I'm gonna just say from that game is I'm just happy at the fact of how we had the lead at halftime. Even though it was only 11-0. I like the fact how we came out of halftime still running the ball instead of trying to throw the ball and force it, because clearly that wasn't working in the beginning of the game. That's why it was only 11-0. So Jacoby, I think he threw 2 interceptions himself, and then Amari throw an interception as well, trying to do this little BS trick play. But I mean,
No,
all in all,
Jacoby lost a fumble. He didn't have no picks. Though.
sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. It was 1 interception and 1 football. I apologize. You're right. So yeah, it was just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just glad that they were able to keep their composure, I should say, and not do like John said, not do any Browns things to give the game away. So,
Yeah.
But I think that's credit to your defense. I mean, the defense kept you guys in it until finally you guys settled down, calmed some nerves, and put together some nice drives. And the defense gets a lot of credit for keeping that game at 0 for the first quarter and
And
a
can
half.
we also talk about how Joe Burrow? That's the only team he hasn't.
yeah, I don't know what it is.
Technically, them and the Bears, but that's story for another day.
I don't know why Cincinnati has
0-4.
That's
0-4.
That's crazy.
Oh,
But I don't know. The Browns always do that though. We always seem like we can handle the good teams, but we always let the bad teams beat us. Like I just don't get that. Like
yeah.
I don't know.
They play to their competition.
Yeah, that is so stupid to me. But
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That's the Browns. That's not our first topic. So yeah, let's go on to our first topic.
But speaking of crazy situations, Steve Nash is out and in. Ime Udoka is in.
Not yet.
Not yet, but 24 to 48 hours, he pretty much did. So today, fellas, while the NFL was making headlines, so did the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets, and they say Steve Nash have decided to part ways. What is it? Has it even been 10 games? Make it to 10 games.
Yeah, 7 games, I think. Yeah.
And he was like, Steve Nash, like, look, this some bull. I'm up out here. I'm good. This is too much.
Oh, you think Steve wanted out?
I believe so. Because it's, I think for the first time in Steve Nash's life, he was not in control of that situation. Because coaches can only do so much. We say it all the time with the NFL and the NBA in most cases. You can't make these guys play harder, make shots, rebound. I think it's a possibility. He was like, "Look,
why can't you? Why can't you? There's plenty of players that, depending on what coach they have, they will die for their coach and will want to,
Yeah, but I don't think them willing to die for Steve.
But no, I know. That's what I'm saying. You just saying like a coach really can't change the cohesiveness in the locker room, but I feel like he can though. Like it's just like you said though, they just didn't respect him enough to even be at that level.
And I think both of them being their own man, it's hard for a person like Steve Nash to get them to play together because Kyrie is Kyrie and KD is KD. They're both very one-track minded people. Like when they got their mind on something, it's like, look, it's that, and if you try to deny it, we got a problem. And I think that's what he ran into, and it wasn't good, man. And even with that being his first job, it's like, do you really want to walk into that Lions Den? That's your first job? Because they're expecting you to succeed. It's Eastern Conference Championship, NBA Finals, or bust, pretty much. And, like I say, it was for the first time in his life, he wasn't in control of that situation.
Yeah, I was about to say I would say he lost the locker room that first day, in my opinion, once, Kyrie has said himself, like, hey, we don't need a head coach. Me personally, if I'm Steve Nash, I would have had to say something right then and there and nip that up in the bud because I'm like, bro, you're not about to sit up here and be like, hey, we don't need a coach. Me personally, I'm gonna say, like, I don't care what your resume is, you know what I'm saying, whatever. We here to do one thing, and that's, to try to win a championship. So I feel like Steve Nash lost the locker room right there. As soon as Kyrie even said that, the locker room was gone. So I just, like I said, it just depends on what guy you have, what guy you have as a head coach to make that, make the players want to play better, I should say, or develop and, pretty much die for the head coach. I'm pretty sure like the Manu Ginobili's and Tony Parker's was willing to die for, Greg Popovich and, the Magic Johnsons and the Kareems was willing to die for, the Pat Rileys, you feel me? Because those guys were different because of the fact of they brought a different type of mentality to the locker room, I should say, because of the fact that they wanted to gain everybody, but they not gain everybody's respect, but they pretty much like, hey, I'm the head coach. Y'all gonna listen to me, but I don't mind taking y'all opinions. But it's just like, I'm saying? I think like it's, I want to say authority, but it's like he kind of took control of the room, like Nico was saying. You know what I'm saying? He took control of the room, so it's like, yeah. But I feel like Steve Nash didn't do that. So with him, pretty much not nipping everything up in the bud, and then all that things were going on with KD, and then KD saying like, hey, trade him or I go. Like it was just too much going on. And like I said, like Nico was saying, it was just probably something he really couldn't control. But I mean, I just really feel like he just wasn't fit for that job to begin with in the first place. So I feel like it should have went somewhere else. In my opinion, I've been preaching for Mark Jackson for years. So, but I don't think he wants to coach anymore.
I think that's the bad thing because you do have a great coach out there like a Mark Jackson, but he's
I just have to say it's just it's so many other people that could have possibly got that job, but I'm saying just going on with the guy Udoka, who's possibly about to get the job. I feel like that could be a good fit for him, in my personal opinion, because of the fact that one, you do have your stars and stuff like that. It's kind of like a Tatum and Jaylen Brown setup, but this is Kyrie and KD who are better players than Tatum and Brown, which is kind of probably debatable with the Tatum part, but we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, I just feel like this would kind of be a good setup for him, because I feel like these players will actually respect Udoka more than they actually respect Steve Nash. So if they happen, like you gonna say, if it happens within the next 24 hours or 48 hours, that I feel like that'll be a good move for the Nets, especially moving forward with how they've been struggling these last couple of years of trying to figure out head coaching and all that other things that's been going on.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I think it goes past even Durant and Kyrie. I mean, you got Ben Simmons, who it could work. I mean, we see it with Draymond, right? Draymond kind of runs like that position that Ben Simmons. He comes around and runs the point a lot, so it could work not having a shooting point guard.
But Draymond's not afraid to shoot, though.
But he's afraid to attack. Like, I'm not even saying pull up for threes. I'm talking about this guy's not even attacking the rim, doing anything. And then also, I think a lot of it has to do with because dude is afraid to shoot free throws. He's shooting 47% right now from free throw, Ben Simmons. It's terrible. I wouldn't want to go to the line either if I were him. So, you got all these players, and then Joe Harris hasn't exactly been playing up to standard so far in his few games back. Patty Mills, isn't getting a lot of minutes. Like, your third highest scorer right now is Nick Claxton, right? I like Nick. I'm a big fan of him. I like his game, but he can't be your third highest scorer. You get when you have Tobias Harris, Joe Harris, Ben Simmons, all these guys. So there's definitely some cohesion issues, like trying to figure out where that team is, who that second, third guy is, whatever. But I've been hard on Nash since he took this job. I've been very vocal about he doesn't deserve this job. It's one of those jobs, like Nico said, like you want it, but you don't want it. You know what I mean? Because you do have to go out there and win. But also, you are going to win a lot of games just off of, like Kyrie said, not coaching. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to naturally just win a lot of games. Like the first year they were the 1 seed for most of the season, I think, until like late. I think they dropped into the 2 seed. But, you're going to win a lot of games with this team just because of the talent you have on it. So you're not going to come in like, if you're coaching the Pistons and have a 19-win season to start your career. You're going to have 40 to 60 wins no matter what, right, every year. But so that looks good on your record, but you do have to go win. You have to make a conference finals. You have to make a championship. You have to maybe win a championship. And that's where this job becomes very strenuous on your, mental health, whatever, whatever. It does become a lot.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant wanted him out during the offseason. Kevin Durant wanted him out. He said, "We don't want Steve. I don't. Move Nash." And the fact that Nash, hearing that, still came back, that's what makes me think that like they ran him out and he didn't want to leave because
you know what?
And there's a difference between like if I hear something over the phone, over the internet, whatever, like, "Hey, Nico don't want you on the show." I'm like, once I get there, we'll be cool. And if I show up and Nico's like, "We not cool," I get it. Then you might want to leave after. So I get it. Maybe Steve Nash showed up and was like, "It'll be all right. It'll be all right." Showed up to training camp and it was not all right. Maybe that's why.
To that point, John, I don't think the relationship was ever the same after that, though. Like you made that example. Yeah. You made that example, like let's say, that did happen hypothetically. The three of us, it would be a different vibe after that. Because in the back of your mind, you like, they don't want me here no way. Why? What's the point of me being here? So I think even in Steve Nash's case, although you are the head honcho, it's still the fact of, dang, my best player don't want me here. It's gonna be hard to gather the rest of the troops because it was out, in the media, and it was a whole thing. So I think even for Steve Nash, it was. That's
what makes me wonder if the Nets owner didn't ask Nash to please come back. Like, hey, because maybe there wasn't another option out there that he was fine at the time or whatever. I don't know.
Or maybe he was going to go back and being a consultant or something.
Maybe he didn't want to come back, and maybe they were like, "Hey, come on, man, just please come back. Like, whatever, it'll be fine." And maybe again, I don't know. Either way, one of them, it just didn't work. But yeah, you got, like you said, you got Kyrie saying we don't need a coach. After his comments, Shaq came out and said, oh yeah, great players don't need a coach. It's like, all right, sure. How many championships did you win without a great coach though? So
with Phil Jackson,
like,
right, all right, Phil
he's
Jackson.
He's the wrong person to even say something like that. I hate to say that. I'm sorry. Because he had a great.
You're right though.
Well, who do you have down in Miami? He had
Pat Riley.
Yeah, Pat Riley.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
I mean,
always had great coaches. So even Shaq, it's like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna get into all that, but I'm just saying, certain players, I agree, you can win a ton of games off talent, but there are very few players who have the team's best interest at heart. Player has his own interest at heart. Like if I drop 35 and we lose, sometimes I'm cool with that. The coach can never be cool with that. He not only can't be cool with losing, he also wants to see his players show growth, right? We talk about all the time, like the Bears never helped Mitch Trubisky grow. They never helped, like, are they going to do the same to Justin Fields? We have this all the time, like growth. Coaches are responsible for winning, for growth in players, for all that stuff. A lot of different stuff I'm not going to get into, but so that's why a coach is important, because he has the team's interest at heart, not his own individual.
Go ahead.
I mean, his own individual too, but also the team.
No, I was just going to add on to that. I was just about to say, if you think about it, if you look at all the great teams that's been winning multiple championships, you know what I'm saying? The Chicago Bulls, the Lakers, the Celtics, you can maybe even throw Miami in there for real, with the Aaron Spoelstra and Pat Riley's and stuff like that. But every single one of those teams that has multiple championships, the Warriors, they have a great coach in Steve Kerr. Like, I mean, I won't say a great coach in Steve Kerr. I mean, you could probably say the majority of that Michael Jackson, but I'm gonna give my props to Steve. I'll give Steve Kerr his props, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I put him in that little category, whatever. But my point being is, you always need a great coach to win championship, because it's like, I don't know. It's like they have a different type of knowledge for the game. I get the players have the knowledge of the game as well, but it's like the coach pretty much seen it all. You feel me? Like, he knows the different type of schemes and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that the players don't, you know what I'm saying? The good players don't, LeBron, he could read a scheme like that. Jordan, Magic, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, I just feel like a coach, it takes a great coach to win a championship. And Steve Nash just wasn't it with the Brooklyn Nets. And I feel like, I hate to say this, I feel like the Brooklyn Nets, with this move though, if they do sign him, which Nico's saying is possible, that it's a good possibility that he is, that could possibly bring them up in the top in the East. Real talk. They might have to, of course, make a few more moves, because it can't just be KD and Kyrie, because how the league is now, you kind of need your young guys and your bench players and stuff like that, because Nets are a complete different team from last year, in my opinion. So they don't have the veteran guys that they had last year, even though people were saying that they were kind of old or whatever, but they still had, the depth, I should say, in the bench depth, you feel me? And I don't feel like they have that this year, and I feel like that's going to possibly be a weakness for them because of the fact that.
Yeah, I think once Joe Harris gets
final
back,
point, John, and then we're going to move on. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to talk about the Ime Udoka thing, because we haven't really delved into that, but like, to the point, like, Seth Curry isn't back yet. I think that's going to add some 3-point shooting, spread the court out for Kyrie and Kevin Durant. And then Joe Harris, once he gets 100% back to 100%, I think Joe Harris is going to be huge. Patty Mills is going to be a great 6-man coming off the bench. So a lot of it does come down to, can Ben Simmons figure it out? If not, then they're going to have to make a trade. But I want to talk about the Ime Udoka stuff, if you guys, because to me, this is very interesting. Like, he can play for one team, but not the Celtics. So this, just to be clear, this was not an NBA rule. This was a Celtics rule.
Yeah,
and the fact that he's eligible to play for another team.
No, well, the report came out that the Celtics were willing to let him coach as long as it ain't there. So it's like, you can, I guess your suspension is voided if you go elsewhere, which doesn't make sense to me, but also we are not the ones making this punishment.
So again, why wouldn't the Celtics just let him go instead of just suspending him then?
Okay, so
because they knew how valuable he was. Now you let him go to Brooklyn. I don't understand that.
Okay, but here's my point. If you believe that this man is a threat or danger to women in general, you would not let him play anywhere. You would make him sit for a whole year no matter what. So this to me is what makes it obvious that Boston has some personal beef with him. Somebody in Boston's head organization above Udoka has personal beef with Udoka because if you truly, it's like with Shamu at the whatever the whale, the killer whale that like attacked the trainer.
Free
They
Willy.
would just like, yeah, it would attack a trainer. They would just send it to
I was
another.
wondering where you was going with that. I'm like,
They would just send it. They would just send it to They would just send it to another water park, whatever, and hope that no one there knew the story. And then it would attack a trainer there too, and it would be like, they just keep moving it as it just ate trainers or as it traveled the world. That's what you can't, right? If you believe Udoka is that kind of person, you can't like just be like, oh yeah, you know what, he'll be fine there. He just won't. You can't do it here. And it's like, no, if that person has that nature, then they're going to do it there too. So that's what makes me think none of this. That part's not true. And this is just completely Boston. Somebody upstairs in Boston has a personal beef with Udoka, and I'm not sure why.
Now that you say it like that, it do kind of make sense that you saying it though, because of the fact of who Udoka said that the lady she slept with, they said he was like the wife of a CEO of Boston or something like that, like some type of financial.
She was a travel advisor, but yeah, her husband did work with the Celtics.
Yeah, but I think I think her husband was like top dog or something in Boston or whatever. But it could possibly.
I'm not claiming it's true, but I'm saying this does lend credence to that statement.
Look, I was about to say this lent a lot of credence to that statement, bro. I'm just saying.
Right. Because why would you let someone who is such a terrible person go do the same thing somewhere else? No, I don't believe that at this point. If you're going to let him go play for the Nets. And also, I would love it if he came back with the Nets and beat them in the playoffs at this point. And guys, how I feel about Kevin Durant, but I'm just saying,
I hate Kevin
Durant. If someone upstairs in Boston is on some BS and he comes back and beats them in the playoffs, I would love it so much.
I would.
Right.
I would.
Well,
I don't want KD to have no success. I'm sorry.
Well, switching gears, fellas, from one bombshell to another. Roquan Smith, middle linebacker of the Chicago Bears, has been traded to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, yes, the Ravens look pretty good with this trade. Now you got a middle linebacker, but it's only one problem. Him and your starting quarterback trying to get paid. So what you gonna do, Baltimore? Who you paying first? Or who you gonna pay and then franchise tag? Decisions. I think Baltimore, they just went from a small problem to a huge problem. Because now, and then the crazy thing is both of these athletes represent themselves. So they like, hey, I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. Lamar wants that Deshaun Watson money. And, Roquan is probably, I don't know how much the highest paid linebacker makes, but he probably wants something north of 15 to 17 and up a year. So it's like, who you gonna pay first? Or who you gonna pay and then franchise and worry about the following year?
I mean, Roquan's still on the last year of his rookie contract, though, right? So he's on a pretty team-friendly deal.
Yes, but he's still gonna be looking to get paid this summer, same as Lamar.
Okay, but I'm saying if you're trying to win this year, there's no guarantee they bring him back next year. I think it was a good trade. You give up some draft picks to get a linebacker who can help you get back in place in a division that's still wide open. Again, I think they will re-sign him, but it depends how he plays. But I think they got, you can say, well, get 2 draft picks. Isn't that? I mean, I don't know, man. I think they're only a few pieces away from being a top competitor in this league. So, giving up 2 picks to get him for 1 year. If this team goes bust, yes, we're gonna look back and say a bad trade, right? But I'm saying,
well, I think one problem that they needed to shore up was that receiving. Mark Andrews can't be your number 1 receiver and he don't even play receiver.
He can be, but you need a close second. You can't have he can't be that far ahead of your next second best receiver.
Right. He's your number 1.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He's
But
your
your
number
second
one.
receiver is so far
Yes.
behind him, it's crazy. Yeah.
Same thing with I think that's why the Chiefs did what they did because Travis Kelsey can only do so much. You need somebody to take the top off, somebody that can get these quick slants and other things like that. But I think the Ravens, honestly, they should have went after like a Calvin Ridley or somebody. Why not go after that? You then have imagine him with Mark Andrews. Like that's pretty good. Then you just get a big body receiver for the jump balls, and you in pretty good shape. But hey, I don't like I say, I'm not a general manager. I don't know what their play is or what they're trying to do. But I think you gotta make a decision. Are you just gonna trade for a guy and then not be able to keep him for the years coming? Because really, it's like, what was the point of trading for? To rent him?
So do you think that the Bears are kind of checking out on this season because they did sign Claypool? Do you think they're
I think
trying some different stuff?
I think
Obviously,
to
they
be
get rid of
honest,
Robert Quinn.
I think they were just trying to get a lot of money off the books. But also, like I told you guys earlier, the only way I would have let go of a Roquan is if I can get Fred Warner. Like, you got to get somebody. Like, who are you going to put there now to be your middle linebacker? Because he was the signal caller. Them guys ain't walking through the door every day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, you're getting money, you getting money back. You're getting it back in a way, but what you gonna bring in to replace that? So it's gonna be interesting to see who they. We're gonna trade for Miles Garrett, and then you're gonna be upset.
You saw crazy as hell. But anyways,
I think gonna cry in the car if that happens.
What trades cut you off guard, Walt? Any big trades grabbed you?
Honestly, like I said, what I was talking about earlier, that TJ Hopkins move with the Vikings from the Detroit Lions, I feel like that's a good move for the Vikings, in my opinion, because I feel like they were missing, some tight end presence. You feel me? So, they already got the receivers
and then Irv Smith is out for at least.
Yeah. So I mean, this pickup, I feel like that's a good pickup for them, man. He's TJ ain't no slouch, so I feel like
Pro Bowler a year or two ago, I think. Yeah.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Now that they got TJ Hawkinson, do you let go of Irv Smith?
No, maybe KJ Osborne, but no, I keep Irv Smith. Irv Smith is more of a deep threat guy. He's quicker than Hawkinson. Hawkinson can block and run the short routes and catch it in traffic.
So you would try to keep both?
Yeah, definitely.
But
get rid of KJ Osborne.
Who becomes your blocking tight end then?
TJ.
You think so?
Shit, you use both of them for real, in my opinion.
Irv's a little slimmer than him, but I
mean, he is, but still, you a tight end. You ain't that slim to where towards you a tight end, though. Like,
let's be honest, it's some small tight ends out here.
Some are wide receivers.
Right. Look at your boy Njoku. He ain't no damn Gronk.
The Njoku pretty, he's pretty fit. I'm about to say he's pretty strong. You feel me? Like,
But if we saw him, we wouldn't be like, that's a tight end. We'd be like, he's a big receiver.
Yeah.
To me, what's crazy about this, they let this guy go inside their division.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I was like,
that's
what we
do. The Rams did this years ago with, it ended up, Kurt Warner going to the Giants and then the Cardinals. But I mean, Isaac Bruce goes to the Niners, and then we're playing with Kurt Warner at the Cardinals. Like 4 games a year, we're playing either Isaac Bruce or Kurt Warner, and it was just like we're getting killed by our own players every year. You can't. I know it's TJ Hawkinson, but I mean he did have a big game earlier this year, two or three scored game. I mean, I would not let this guy go in my own division.
Yeah, like that. Another one too with that Bradley Chubb move too. I think him going to Miami.
Now that was crazy.
Now that was that move.
Like, damn, you let go of. I ain't gonna say. Well,
I mean that defense.
I mean, no, that defense is what kept them in every game this year.
Right. That's the only reason Denver's still relevant.
Yeah. So
if it wasn't for that defense, they probably would be.
I don't know. It was a bad move for Denver, in my opinion, but just that the pickup for Miami.
Or you got to think Naheem Hines went to Buffalo. Now they got them a receiver a running back that can catch out the backfield. So it might, it's gonna be interesting. I wonder with Calvin Ridley though, like how
I ain't gonna lie, that move was just ridiculous to me.
How's that gonna work with him in Jacksonville? Because you just got Christian Kirk, then you got Marvin Jones.
That's what I'm saying. They already receiver stacked down there. I didn't understand that.
You could bring back Tim Tebow at tight end, and
no, you can't.
So stupid, man.
I feel like that was a bad move for Ridley. I feel like he should have went, to maybe KC or what Nico said.
If he would have went to KC, I would have stopped watching.
I don't think he had a choice, but yeah,
if he go to KC,
that's fair enough to say too. I'm pretty sure he didn't have a choice either, though, because of of his previous suspension of things he had going on. But I mean, if I was him, I would try to just play the season out and just maybe go elsewhere. In my opinion, I mean, I just feel like Trevor Lawrence is just not going to be it for him. I mean, I just don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be it. Period. Though, like
that's what I'm wondering. If they just think giving receivers,
I think you got to give these guys and I feel the same about him. The same way I feel about Justin. You gotta give him 2 years.
But at least Justin's progressing, though. You can see the progression in Justin Fields. I don't see no progression in Trevor Lawrence's game in his second year, bro. It's just like he's still doing. No, I just see him doing the same exact crap that he was doing in the rookie season. At least Justin, if he feels like, oh, I'm about to throw an interception, fuck it, let me just run. You feel me? Like I just feel like Trevor Lawrence, he doesn't make that decision, and he can run too. So it's like I just feel like he makes more.
He don't run a lot.
I don't get why he doesn't utilize his legs more. And it's like, bro, like you clearly don't have the game plan to be, a complete quarterback just yet. So use what you know. Use your feet, bro. Like I just don't get why he don't do that majority of the time. Sometimes
he's definitely having a little bit better season than last year. It's not as last year was quite bad, but. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't jump off the screen at you, his game. And I wonder if they think just adding like another receiver is just going to help. Like I don't know. I mean, I know Marvin Jones got blanked last week, had 0, but like at some point you can only have so many receivers on the field, and you got nice running backs.
You know what's funny though? The only bright spot for them is
Etienne's been crazy. Yeah, Etienne. Yeah, he's been going crazy. Bright spot. Having like 8 yards to carry like the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah,
I watched the game Sunday when they played Denver, and it wasn't for him. They probably would have got blown out.
Yeah,
because he kept the defense honest. That's fair. So all right, gentlemen. World Series. Who do you have tonight? I'm gonna say Houston. I think Houston wins tonight, and it will put Philly in the hot seat because you have to win Game 4. Because if you don't, boy, them Philly fans gonna be pissed. Pissed. When Ben Simmons didn't lay that ball up. Pissed.
Well, right now, what I'm looking at is Philly up 4-0 at the bottom of the fifth. So it's looking kind of slow for Houston. But Houston's usually a late rallying team.
I was gonna say, baseball, all you need
is one. So yeah, they're usually a late rallying team. So I can't really count Houston out just yet. But yeah, man, Philly came out strong in this game. though. I think
they needed it.
Yeah, I think they hit 3 home runs in the first 2 innings or something like that. And
then you at home, you should have that, that home field rush going.
That crowd is definitely
your own bed, ate your own food.
So can we do like Nico and wait till halftime to call the score?
Is it really a halftime though in baseball?
Obviously, I'm going Phillies I'm
bottom
going
of the fourth?
Phillies tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Houston rattle off the next 3 in a row after this and close it out in 6.
Damn, that would suck.
Yeah, I still got
Damn,
Houston taking the
wait, hold on.
60s.
So you saying they would close it out in Philly? Damn.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm hoping it goes 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah.
Houston has that potential to close it
Houston
out.
wouldn't be able to make it out. They'd
Damn,
be done start the car over, set it
I'm,
on fire.
I'm looking at their record. It's crazy. Houston won 106 games, and Philly only won 87 games, and they and they in the World Series. That's crazy.
Hey,
But that just goes to show you
momentum.
they showed up in playoff time, though. It was a kind of a struggle, throughout the regular season. But
Momentum is an MF, boy.
that you are definitely correct, my friend. You are definitely correct on that. They definitely carried that momentum from how they were playing from, I guess, October starts the playoffs, so September, October. From that September month, they were carrying that on into October, and for them to make it to the World Series after only winning 87 games, I feel like that's pretty impressive in my opinion. But they still gonna take this. I still feel like Houston got more to prove because they feel like everybody's still on their back with that scandal that happened.
I don't think people are talking about that. Like, do you think this is kind of? I'm not saying maybe not, but kind of Giants versus Patriots, kind of not maybe not that close, but it is David. It's a slight David versus Goliath. I think most people would say. So if Phillies do pull it off, it would be a huge upset. I mean, for sure. But
absolutely. But I just feel like Houston. They might. They got the experience. I'm not saying that Philly don't got the experience either, but I just feel like they maybe got more to prove. If that makes sense, I should say.
Makes sense. I got a lot of sense.
Yep. Anyway, free Calvin Ridley and Walt, take us out.
There you go with that boy.
Well, people, we appreciate y'all joining Real Deal Sports tonight. As you can see, it was a fun-filled night full of sports. It was a great weekend for sports, especially for me. I went to the game last night. We were talking about that off the line, so maybe I was the good luck charm for the Browns.
There you go with that boy.
But like I said, we appreciate y'all joining us tonight. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. I'm not sure if we had any more subscribers yet, but like I said, we got this QR code, so make sure y'all scan the QR code. Subscribe. I'll be honest, I don't give a damn if you watch. Just subscribe.
I do. Subscribe and then watch and then comment. That's the most important ones. Subscribe, watch, comment.
Yeah. Send it
and
to
then
your
share.
chick.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need no likes. I don't care about likes. Just comments, shares, subscribes, definitely.
In that order, like he said. So, like, it's your boy Big Watt, my boy Nico Suaved in the mofo.
Thanks, man.
My boy John, hardest working man in showbiz, in my opinion. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Like I said, thank y'all for joining us. It's been Real Deal Sports. Throw up them Tyreeks, baby.